Right, everyone, my next issues of Combat Patrol are now here, and I decided to start this one off as a double review because issues number 23 and 24 create the Aeldari Guardians. Now, let's not beat around the bush here. This is, a really cool looking kit. With, by the look of it, quite a large number of weapon options. So just before I go into anything else, I can see straight away we seem to get lots of different specialist weapons. They're normal guns, but we also seem to have the single hand weapons here. So I think I'll have to have a really good look, but there is a very good chance that with this kit you can build them kind of two ways, as either a hand-to-hand melee force or a ranged like kind of what are they called? I can never remember what the weapons are called, but dealing with more ranged. Okay, before I actually start moving on and having a look at the miniatures, then I'll actually go through the issue themselves. So issue number 23, as we would expect, we're going to have a good look at how to actually build them. These are going to be quite complex. As you can see, we've got straight away lots of bodies that need building. They've got separated legs. So this is going to be a bit of a pain of a build. So we're going to have to put them all together. However, based upon what we can see, once you've got the kind of core body together, it does feel like we do have a bit of variation in how we put them together. So we can have, if you want to, a lot of bare heads. We've got our, very long, strange Aeldari high helmets, which that was always, the case with Aeldari, and I think the idea was to tie it into the Warhammer fantasy. So basically make these kind of look like space elves with their, and give them that tall helmet that everyone thinks about when they think of elven helmets. So they link quite a lot to the high elves in that regard. Now, we have like kind of pairs of arms, so you've got to make sure that you get the right gun to the right arm combination. However, as you can see, you've got quite a wide variety of well, just to begin with, you've got a wide variety of arms that you can use to add. On top of that, we have things like the backpacks that go onto them. Again, that's quite versatile about which backpacks you put on. Although, to be fair, there's not really like massive amount of design choices. So in a lot of ways, you could almost feel like it was a bit redundant keeping them separate. They could have probably just molded them straight into the miniature. Okay, what else do we have here, though? So, along with our kind of head options, we've got, some nice little bits of war gear that we can add. Now, that's for kind of straight Guardian defenders. What they don't seem to show is this here. What we have is we have a lot of pistols. So we've got a lot of pistol options. We've got chainsword options. I think it's worth, before I start building these, actually having a good look and seeing if I can find the online instructions for the alternative builds. Because looking at this, look, there's no other way to put it. It's loads of choices here. These look like specialist weapons. They're very clearly specialist weapons. So I think it's going to be, worth my time just checking what the rules are. So I'll come back to that in a minute. But they only show you how to build it with very basic weapon options. They don't show you how to build it with any of the advanced weapon options, which is a bit of a shame, really. Same with this kind of heavy weapon. There's loads of options for the heavy weapons, but they only show you one very simple approach to actually building it. Which again, it's a bit of a shame, because you've got all these choices and then they're just saying, yeah, here's the only way you should build them. kind of makes me wish that we were getting a second set of these, because a second set of these would then give us a second set of instructions on how to build them with hand weapons. So it's a bit of a complaint that I think that they should have given us the instructions for more variety. We do, however, get our little bit of lore, and it even tells you what all of these wonderful weapons are that that are actually on the sprue by the look of it. So it's a bit of a annoying that they don't show you how to actually do them and build them. Anyway, that's my gripe about that straight away. But there are some very nice ones here. Some very nice sort of kind of talk about the different Aeldari paths. Let's have a look. A little bit about the Imperium and how that's going on. It's actually quite packed quite full, this issue, with loads of different stuff. What else have we got here? Yes, Aeldari unit names, a little bit about Space Marines and their concept of an Oath of Moment. A little bit of a combat, a little bit of combat. We're looking at the Tyranids and the Space Marines. I'm just checking. Yeah, why is it Tyranids versus Space Marines again? Why aren't we getting to use our new miniatures? That's a bit annoying. But it must be sort of introducing us to a specific approach. Right, so that's issue number 23. It's actually packed full of quite some interesting stuff there. Moving on to issue 24, and this is where we're going to look at the painting. Now, as you may be aware, I'm doing Craft World Ulthwé. Ulthwé or Ulthwé, I never know which one to say that. So mine is a different approach, and hopefully you'll be able to follow my tutorials, which will start off with base coating, and as we go through we're going to build up more complexity. So I'm really enjoying doing Ulthwé with their black and white scheme, and highlighting bits of yellow just to make them a bit different. Right, full of the Aeldari, so that'll be talking about how many craft worlds are basically, well, struggling with, from what I understand, of low population building. Wide range of other issues, the issues with our lovely goddess Lanesh and her love of eating Aeldari souls. The webway is like a really cool idea that the Aeldari avoid the perils of war travel by having their own approach. Okay, what else have we got here? Forge Worlds. A little bit about Forge Worlds and their love, how they're the stronghold of the Mechanicum and where they build all of their nasty Imperial tech. What else have we got here? Right, little story. I like to read about stuff when my brain can actually cope with reading. Again, a bit more about the Defenders. Right, good. We're actually using the Aeldari for once, but we're only really using, let's have a look. So to start with, you're just the Farseer and some Von Righton Sleepers, but it looks like the battle kind of builds up and the Guardians come in and the Tyranid Termagants come in, which just make it a bit more interesting. So we've got some nice stuff in these. I like the lore actually in these two issues are packed full of lore, aren't they? They've got quite a bit of it to go through, quite a lot of lore and reading to do, which I like. I like expanding on the lore. I hate it when you get an issue where there's like 1 page of lore about anything. Right, let's have a look at the miniatures. So I've kind of brought them in just to talk about different concepts. However, let's have a look at what we actually get on here. So as you can probably see, there's no doubt about it, the Aeldari are skinny and tall. Basically, if you put a Space Marine next to them, you're going to snap them in half. The idea is that they are, masters of stealth, of mobility. That's why they use jet and hover technology as part of their, vehicles. Everything they do is about hard striking, and that's true of both the Craftworld Aeldari and the Drukhari, I think it's pronounced. Basically, the Dark Eldar, who are Aeldari raiders. So they're designed to be thin, willowy. You've got some lovely details, though. I mean, look at these. I love these helmets, and you seem to have... Again, I'm looking at these here. These heads with the kind of ponytails. So I'm asking myself, are they all leader heads? If they're all leader heads, that's a wide variety of leader heads. Or are they supposed to be something else? Because we don't know. You see, we get too many of them to be anything else. I need to find out what these can be built as. So they can be built as Eldar Guardians, but it's obvious they're something else. So what is that something? I don't think it could be striking scorpions. I'm trying to remember about pistols and chain swords. So without stopping and going away and looking it up, but part of me wonders, is it striking scorpions who go for pistols, chainswords, and have the kind of the lock of hair on the top? But it feels almost like there is a separate kit for those. I actually don't know. I am genuinely unsure. The other thing as well that I want to look into is how many special weapons can a squad have, because these weapons here are very different. Now I can see 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's 4 just on here. Now, to my mind, you don't tend to get a special weapons, that many special weapons on a sprue. In a squad, it's unusual to have that many on a single sprue. I am going to have to seriously consider how I'm building these, because part of me, in my sort of like desire to do things different, I'm wondering if it's squad legal to do the squad only of, say, 5 men in each squad, and in that kind of have 5 with pistols. I'm going to have to really look this up. But I love these. These are gorgeous. I love the aesthetic on these. The curves, the kind of the way that everything just seems like it flows and that it's moving. Look at all these spare weapons we get. I mean, gosh, it must just be possible to get magnetize these for hot swapping. It's got to be doable. Again, look at all these swords again. It's clearly that these are 2 different kits built into one sprue, which was very common at one point with Games Workshop to do that. I think what we've got here is I'm going to have to go away and find out what squads we can actually build with these. I think we get Howling Banshees as one of the premium kits in the future. So I'm going to assume that it's not Howling Banshees, and that's why I'm thinking Striking Scorpions. But I'm not that knowledgeable of the Aeldari, so I could just be well off, couldn't I, about what they actually are. But what a wonderful kit that we get across through sprues. So many options, so much we can do with them, so many choices. I absolutely love the fact that, it's a mix as well, because one thing that I've always liked about the Eldar is very early on in the product line, they made it very clear that, male and female Eldari were pretty much in equal numbers almost. It's just fantastic. What a lovely kit this is. I can't wait to build it, but kind of also thinking, well, I've really got to work out how I'm building this, because do I want to go for Guardians or do I want to find out what else we can do? So I'll have to go from there. We'll see what happens when I build it. So thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe. See you for the next video.